Daniel Hayes woke before sunrise, as he always did. Even years after leaving the military, his body carried the discipline of a soldier. But now, instead of drills and missions, his mornings were filled with making breakfast for his teenage daughter, Emily. The tiny apartment they lived in was modest. The walls carried faint cracks, the furniture was second-hand, but it was filled with love. Daniel had sacrificed everything for Emily since his wife passed away in an accident during his last deployment. He worked 2 jobs, an auto mechanic by day and a night security guard, just to keep food on the table. As Emily packed her backpack for college, she looked at her father with admiration. "Dad, you don't have to keep bringing me lunch. I can buy food on campus." Daniel chuckled. "Not a chance. You know I don't trust cafeteria food." He held up the brown paper bag with her favorite sandwich inside. "Besides, this is how I check up on you." He didn't say it out loud, but deep down, he feared losing Emily the way he lost his wife. She was his world, his anchor. That afternoon, Daniel walked across the busy college courtyard, holding the lunch bag. He scanned the lively scene, students laughing, skateboards rolling, music drifting from a speaker. It was a world far removed from the deserts he once patrolled in uniform. Then he noticed something off. Near the fountain, a girl was surrounded by a group of students. Her long dark hair framed a pale face filled with fear. She hugged her books to her chest while a tall, cocky boy towered over her. His voice cut through the chatter. "Don't act like you're better than us, Sophia. Everyone knows who your father is. You think hiding in plain clothes makes you one of us?" The name Sophia struck Daniel faintly, but he didn't know yet who she really was. Sophia Carter stood frozen, not out of arrogance, but because she hated attention. Despite being the daughter of one of the most powerful CEOs in the country, she wanted to live quietly, like any normal student. But that very humility made her a target for envious bullies. The boy, Bradley, a spoiled rich kid himself, shoved her shoulder. Her books tumbled to the ground. The crowd gasped but no one moved. Phones came out to record, but nobody stepped in. That was the breaking point. Daniel's soldier instincts ignited. He dropped the paper bag, his boots striking firmly as he crossed the courtyard. "Hey!" His voice carried authority that silenced the crowd. "That's enough." Bradley spun around, sneering. "And who are you supposed to be? Her babysitter?" Daniel stopped a few feet away, his eyes steady, his body still but ready. "I'm someone who won't stand by while a coward picks on a young woman. Move. Now." Bradley laughed, trying to save face. "Do you even know who my dad is?" Daniel's voice hardened. "Doesn't matter who your dad is. What matters is you're about to cross a line you'll regret." The crowd whispered. Students could feel the tension crackling like static. Bradley tried to push Daniel's shoulder, but before he could, Daniel grabbed his wrist with military precision and twisted it just enough to make him stumble. Daniel didn't hurt him, just reminded him he was outmatched. "You're done," Daniel said calmly, releasing him. Humiliated, Bradley muttered threats but backed away, dragging his gang with him. The crowd erupted into whispers, some cheering under their breath. Sophia looked up at Daniel, her hands trembling as he bent to collect her books. "Are you okay?" he asked. Her voice cracked. "Yes, thank you. No one's ever stood up for me like that." Daniel smiled faintly. "Sometimes all it takes is one person. Don't forget that." That night, Sophia told her father, Richard Carter, what happened. Richard was not a man easily shaken. He had built his empire through steel will and sharp decisions. But hearing that his daughter had been cornered, mocked, and shoved broke through his armor. What did you do? He asked her. She shook her head. I froze. But, Dad, someone helped me. He wasn't a student. He didn't know who I was. He just stepped in. Richard leaned forward. What's his name? Sophia's lips curved into a soft smile. I only caught his last name. Hayes. Richard Carter wasn't used to being in anyone's debt. But that night, he made a decision. He would find this man. The next day, Daniel was under a car at the auto shop when sleek black cars pulled up. His co-workers froze, eyes wide. Out stepped Richard Carter himself, flanked by suited men. Daniel Hayes? Richard's voice was sharp but respectful. Daniel slid out from under the car, wiping grease from his hands. Yeah. Who's asking? Richard extended a hand. Richard Carter. My daughter told me what you did yesterday. You defended her when no one else would. For that, you have my gratitude. Daniel hesitated, shaking his hand firmly. I didn't do it for thanks. I just couldn't stand by. Sophia appeared then, smiling shyly. Hi. I'm glad to see you again. Daniel nodded softly. Glad you're safe. But Richard wasn't done. Over the following weeks, he visited Daniel often, curious about the man who didn't bend to power or status. He learned about Emily, about the struggles Daniel faced, and about the sacrifices he made daily. Slowly, respect turned into friendship, but Bradley wasn't done. Humiliation burned in his chest. Learning who Sophia was only made him angrier. He thought if he could hurt her again, he'd prove he wasn't weak. One evening, as Sophia walked to her car, Bradley and his gang cornered her again. This time, it was more serious. No playful jeering, just raw malice. But Daniel happened to be nearby, waiting to pick up Emily. He saw the danger and sprinted into action. His soldier training kicked in. Within seconds, Bradley's friends were disarmed, their arrogance collapsing under Daniel's swift precision. Campus security arrived, and the incident went viral within hours. Videos of the soldier dad defending Sophia spread across social media. People called him a hero. Richard Carter met Daniel again, this time with no entourage, no suits, just a father humbled. You protected my daughter twice. And you didn't even know she was mine. That's character. That's honor. His voice cracked, something rare. I built an empire, Daniel, but I never had a soldier's courage. You've shown me something money can't buy. Daniel shook his head. I'm just a dad. Trying to do right by my daughter. Richard smiled faintly. Maybe. But sometimes the world needs men like you in places of influence. I want to help you. Not out of pity, out of respect. And for the first time, Daniel allowed someone to help him. Emily's tuition was secured. Daniel was offered a leadership role in Carter Industries' security branch, where his experience mattered. Months later, life looked different. Emily thrived in college. Sophia no longer walked with fear. Her friendship with Daniel and Emily gave her strength. Bradley faced consequences that stripped him of his arrogance. And Daniel? He was still the same man, humble, steady, protective, but now he had support, recognition, and peace knowing he had built a new life not just for himself, but for those he loved. And that's the heart of this story. A single dad. A soldier. A man carrying scars the world couldn't see. He stepped forward when no one else would, and in doing so, he changed not only one girl's life, but his own, because heroes aren't made in boardrooms or by family names. They're made in moments of courage, when the world is watching to see who will rise.